Hello everybody. In this video I want to show you how to create a really quick and somehow like a pending item list application or to-do list or grocery list. I don't know, it can be called different way. It's going to be really simple. We want to skip probably some steps, but I would want to use it JavaScript, HTML and CSS only for that. I don't want to use an external library for the CSS section. I think that I saw the need to actually go through this process to show you exactly what I'm expecting when asking to create a specific application, and I want to show you my workflow. So probably my workflow will help everybody to understand this a little bit better, and probably you can use it for your own application too for this particular class. And then probably we can add some extra flavor. I will show you how to use libraries at the end. I know that I say that I don't want to use library, but I don't want to use it for the CS section for now. But I want to achieve some extra functionality, a little bit of flavor here and there, just for the JavaScript section. And I will show you that how to import and use some libraries in a really cool modern way, modules in JavaScript. It's pretty neat. And it's really, really simple. I already have I already created the application itself. Something that I want to add as the extra flavor is to add a connection to local storage. Local storage is a way for the browser to save information and persist data between applications. There's two types of web storage in the browser side. Well, three is we use IndexedDB, but we are not using IndexedDB. The web APIs standard gave us to have session storage and gave us what it is local storage. Persistent storage, sorry, as the name describes it, is a type of storage that is saved by sessions. Sessions whenever you are have the browser. So when you close your tab or you put like an expiration date, is where that information is going to be saved or not. Local storage is a little more persistent, and this is a way to save the strings to the database. It's pretty neat, right? We want to use something really, really simple. That's going to be tied only for the browser, for the user. I will show you how to leverage that. But then there's some kind of limitations, and the things that I want to use here is I want to use arrays and probably some objects here and there, basic ones, not that big of a deal. And those doesn't play that well with local storage, but using libraries will help us leverage that in a simple, more easy way to read. So let's actually get started. So the first thing that I need to do, and you can do this through your Explorer or command prompt the way that I'm doing. So I have my Windows WSL session in my Windows computer here. So I will create a folder, and I'm already in my projects folder. Let me create, let's call this my pending. Always have issues with the naming browser release. Let's actually call it my browser release. I will go to that particular folder and I will open Visual Studio Code in this folder. When I have Visual Studio, probably you will see that my Visual Studio is actually have like probably more icons. That's been I just created and installed more extensions here. There's a bunch of those that are actually really helpful. Emoji Sense is one of the ones that I like too much. Probably CSS colors. You need it. Which one is CSS Pixel one? But yeah, there's a couple there. I don't remember which one I have, but you will see some benefits having those ones. Okay, so I already have my folder open. And my grocery list, I will create my index HTML, my style CSS, and my, let's call this script, JavaScript file. Perfect. And then I will open my terminal. Right here. Okay. There's a load no. Forget about that. Let me just close this one. Let me open the other terminal. Probably will be faster and better. If I do list everything that I have my 3 folders there, my 3 files. I would like to npm init, git init, git status. I will say I have my 3 files, and let me add those 3 files and git add everything, git commit, initial commit. Cool. And then I will use npx, the way that I showed in the previous video. Right. That is, this will be my server, and it will be running in the background. What we'll do is pretty much just running my app, and probably will be right here. Those 3000. This is my application. This on the left. So let me start in my index HTML. Let me start adding a basic one. Let me minimize this in order to be able to see it. And let's call my grocery this as a title. You can see that the actual title is working. We can even do a pencil. Here I have the list. There you go. Yeah, little emoji. We can see that in the title it's working. And let's actually do, let me put down title for now. Disable globally for now. And let's do an H1. And let's put here hello. There. We'll put the title. Probably we just need to copy the title and have it right here. Perfect. So my server is running, and this is running with my npx bit dot, and it's rendered the index HTML. And everything is being saved right there. Okay, the first thing that I would like to do here is something that I like to do, and this is extra. And in order to have a better control for the CSS, I like to reset all the pre-default browser styling. Every browser has its own styling, its own letters, sizings. Like every browser is different. I don't know if you run this one and try to open Firefox maybe, and try to open Microsoft Edge or Safari, you're in a Mac, you will see that the styling is a little bit different here and there. And even that we don't have any styling applying yet. So there's some common libraries or common things that we can use in order to help us reset all of those. And one that I encountered that I would really like, and I will show you this particular one. The new CSS reset is a global CSS reset keyword to set and revert everything that the browser does. In order to make it simple enough so it looks like and works, that's what I'm going to do. Just want to put all this information, copy over. I will create the file reset.css, and I will paste it and save it. And I paste it and save it. Let me minimize this a little bit. I will do a simple importing of that particular file in my HTML link, and we will say that the release will be installed it, and the reference or the location will be in my root folder, reset CSS. And let's close it. Right? I save this. You will see that my reset is just applied, and I have the default text in the default size. So everything is, and you don't have any spacing, margin, and anything. Pretty much what I like in order to have everything set up to 0. That would be the idea. So that would be the first one that I want to do. Second one that I want to do here is I want to just change the text. But what we can do in order to achieve that? Let's actually use a Google font. Google Fonts. And the really cool about this, we can actually select the font that we like it. There's a lot of their Roboto, Open Sans are like the basic ones. Rubik, look at this. No need to Sans are a really good one too. But actually, yeah, let's get near. So the way that this works is to select the style or the font that you like, and then you start selecting the size. So in this case, I would select one for the theme, the extra light. We'll get one for the regular, and I will get one from the vault. You select all those styles to make it too heavy for your website to render. But try to select the one that you will be using in your presentation. That will be the 3 one that I like. I want thin one, regular, and bold. And a very cool thing about this, if I go to the bottom, probably. I select those. How can I? Maximize this. Oh, it doesn't allow me to have it. So, oh, let's get away from the needle. It didn't work the way that it's supposed to. Let's get poppins probably. Let's do the same. Let me select. In this case, I have the extra light selected. Let's select the thin. I like this one a little bit better. Regular and bold. Yes. Proceed. On the family. Interesting. I just did this before. Select style. I just want. Oh, I need to click here on view selected. So sorry, this is my bad. So this was highlighted. This is the one that I needed. Okay, so let me get back. Let me get my. Let me reset everything. So Roboto, get out. Oh, no needle is right here. So poppins. Let's actually remove the needle. For all. I will have selected just my poppins, and I have 100, 400, and 700. And we have the link how to import it in our website. Let's actually get all these 3 links, copy over those, and let's just put it just after my reset CSS. Paste it, and let's put my title a little bit different. And that will change Oh, we didn't change it because we need to apply it, and that's through the font family. We need to apply the font family plugins in our CSS. So after we have this, probably we can just use link style sheet, and let's get our styles. And then in our style CSS, we just make the body use that font family. Oh, missing an equal here. There you go. No, not this one just changed, and it's pretty much what I needed. Perfect. So let's keep working with this. And let's move a little bit faster. Probably it's just taking too long. So I want to have my title there. What I want to have after that, I would like to have a form without an action. And let's do this form to be, we'll apply something later. But let's run input and type text. And let's put as placeholder add an item to your list. Probably. We can have a button or add. And this one will be type submit. So we have a little form. We can type, and then we have the button. And as you can see, the styling was completely removed. Let me disable reset a little bit to see what I'm actually doing. Title, and put in a text input, and put in a button right here. Cool. And I will change this later. So let's actually do this, and after that, what I want to have is a simple list. So we have a simple list, and this list will have different items. For example, milk, eggs, I don't know, tortillas, whatever. So we save those, and in theory those should be reset over here. There you go. So that's what we want to do. So I want to start adding elements, and those elements should be added right here in the list, and in that way. A way that I like to, probably it will be faster just to verify and continue working with the functionality. In my case, I like to do the styling first, and then I work on the functionality. And as you can see, my markup is really small, and probably we need to add some classes here and there, extend some elements, but other than that, that's pretty much what we need. Whenever I add something here, I want to be added at the end of the list. Of course, these elements are, for example, these need to be removed, and they need to be added just through JavaScript itself. So let me enable my resetting again. And my reset is enabling the look and feel about everything. And now I have full control on what to do. So let me change my H1, and let me actually add a class. Let's put this will be my title. And my form, let's call this one new grocery form. The input, I will select the input through JavaScript, so it's a good idea to have an ID. So probably we can have an ID for this particular input. Let's call it the new grocery. And just for better practice, we can actually do the autocomplete equal false. So sorry, off. That means you have autocomplete in your browser, it will not try to do it or select this input form to actually do that. For the bottom, let's add another ID. We will select these two through CSS, sorry, to JavaScript. Oh, add button. What else? The list. Let's call this grocery list. And every element, probably we can call this grocery item. Cool. So we have like selectors, some classes for styling, some IDs. It will be a little more for the JavaScript, but we can actually select that through CSS too. And let's actually start working my styling. So let me get back to my CSS. So one of the things that I want to look at, I would like to do some kind of theming. And one really cool one that I found the other day, I would like to use is, I really like the Palenite from Material Design. So I found this guy. He actually have the color for Palenite and Material Design for background program. So I will select all these colors and I will apply as a variables. We not use all of them, actually we use a couple of those, but I want to show you how to use variables inside CSS. It's pretty neat. So we will select all that. We'll get back to my list. And in order to use those variables, we need to zero element for the root. Right, and let me paste all that. Those need to change a little bit. So all of those actually, all to be a variable need to start with a double slash, and then we add the property with the number. This actually could be colors, could be size, could be whatever we need. And because we are CSS, need to finish with a semicolon at the end. Save those, and cool. As you can see, I just have the different colors typed out. This is through a CSS element. I really like that. Probably this is a really good idea to stop. Let me add a new file. So you Control Shift P or Command Shift P. You can click add. Actually, no, let's actually do it manually. Let me add a new file. And let's call it .git ignore. And because I'm using bit, you can see that there's a bit folder there that I don't want. So I just type that, not to be graded out because I don't want to track it. And now I can add all my files that you ignore the markup reset. So what I want to do right now is show you how to do, and probably I need to do this sooner. So let me add the git ignore file only, and I will commit that file alone. Added git ignore. Cool. Then let's add reset CSS and markup. Boom. There you go. In order to keep saving everything there. Okay, and now we can get back to our styling. Start working with the different elements we need to do. So we'll keep the body, we'll keep that font. Let's do our background color. And let's select a bar. And the pretty cool about autocomplete is that I can actually see the different elements that I selected. So I will select my bar to be this one. Yeah, like it. Color. Yeah, let's use foreground probably. So we can actually read the elements. This is a little redundant, but just in case, let's do flex. Actually, oops, let me disable. I think I disabled it before. Disable globally. Whatever, it's not disabled. Okay, let's do like flex direction column, right counter center, because I like to be everything center, and to align item center. Cool. There you go. And probably let's send pop-ins to the end. So we have our body, main styling. So now let me just minimize this in order not to make extra room. And let's select my title. As you remember, my title have a title class. That means I can just do dot title and start styling my title. And let's do simple margin 0.5 em probably. This is not being reflected. There you go. I don't know why it's not being reflected right away. It's supposed to. Let me run this and let me run it again. So let me change my font size and let's do for em. Make it bigger. Let's do font 1. And remember, we downloaded 100, 400, and 700, I believe, but I think we can use 10. Name. Lighter. There you go. Just lighter. I like that one. And then I can do a little spacing. Let's do just 0.05 em. Like, okay, those spread out the letters just a little bit. And probably it's too light. Let me get back to my index.html. And let me change my 100 here. The one that is actually downloaded from Google. Downloaded the 100, 400, and 700. It's actually this 200. There you go. Perfect. And let's make this to have a little bit better color. Let's do accent color. So you pop up our titles. Just a little bit. Perfect. Then for our new grocery, it will be the form itself. I just want to display as flex items. That means remove any possible marginal things that could have. And let me start styling my input box. And we know that the input box have an ID of new grocery. New grocery form, just how the order will be, but there's actually a new grocery ID. Let's select an ID. And let's do background color white. Let's change the color because probably that color is too light now. So let's do our. I have foreground, so probably comment. There you go. It can be read a little bit. You can change any color, of course, that you like. But let me do that for now. Let me do my border radius. Actually, before the border, let's do padding. And let's do 0.5 em. So it's going to be a little bit bigger. Perfect. Let's do Let's make this a little larger. There you go. And let's increase the font size to like a 50% more, like EMs. Yeah, probably that works. And I will add the border radius later. Let me now work in add button as an ID. I will select my add button. I will do some styling there too. So the first thing will be my background color. And probably I can use a bar. And let's use greenish. And now accent. Probably. Let's change the color of the text to be the background. We have that. Perfect. I like it. Let's add the same padding that we have for the text. And this is why I removed the reset and then I put it as a display flex, because I like how my input box and my button are right there. It looks like the same element. So pretty much what I did it. I made my padding there, and then probably the font size too. So we have the same across the board. In this particular font white, let's do bold. This will be the call to action, like call me. Now something that I want to do, I want to add the border. So I want to add the border to the left side in my input box and the right side. Actually, this doesn't look like a button, right? You can see if I select it, this is get rendered. That means it's working the submission, right? But it doesn't show that it's a button itself. So let's add the hover functionality. And so here, let's change the cursor to be a pointer. I mean now, right, there you go, change, it's a button, you can see it, perfect. And then the add button, let's do background color, let's do please. Actually, this need to change, so I wanted to change the hover. There you go. You can see the color will be changing, perfect. About the text, I like the text how it is. Probably can stay like that, like just to see the effect when that's going to be changed. Perfect. So let me add in now my border radius. So if we do some border radius here, and if we do the traditional one, we'll apply it everywhere. So I want to dot 25 EM. Really good amount. Let's select the same for the button. Yeah, but now it doesn't look the way that I'm supposed to. So that means I want to add it just to the left. So the way that this actually works, I think is let me verify. I look in my notes right now. The thing is, we can actually change the border radius to 4 elements. This is like top left, then stops right, it will print the same. We do it 4 times. Doesn't change anything there. So it's like top left to right, bottom right, and bottom left. I need this one to be 0. There you go. We can see just change it just a little bit, and we need the other one 0. So just the borders apply on the left, and let's copy this over, paste it on the bottom, and let's do the other way around. We keep the 25 EM in the middle, and we just put 0 at the beginning and at the end, and there you go. Now we have that link there. Perfect. Read it. The next thing that we need to do is working with our grocery list. So let's like my grocery list and just have an ID. That means we are used at the pound grocery list. And let's do display flex. Working, but let's change the flex direction column. Perfect. Then let's change the background. Then let's make the background color. And let's change this one to, it should be enough. Probably comment one. Okay, I like it. Of course, well, we will work on the element later. But before the background color, probably we can actually use some margins and other elements. Let me do align item center, just to be everything we're supposed to, and justify content center too. Yeah. Okay. Let's add a particular data margin top, probably 2 EM, so we can separate that from here. And what else we can do here? Let's add an extra border radius. There you go. So that will be my list, and now I will style every element. Every element of the styling is a class grocery item. That means the class needs to be selected through a dot. And let's just start adding, let's change the background color to be white. Let's change the color of the text. Let's select one of those, and let's select, in this case, the same as the background, so it's actually pretty pronounced there. Let's add our margins across the board. Yeah, start looking like a list. Let's actually put it with, I don't know, like that. Text align center. Yeah, probably. Let's add some padding. And probably about the padding will be, let's put 5 EM too. Okay. And the border box radius, sorry, border radius 0.25, and we do a less one. And there is a formula for that, but I don't have it at this moment. I cannot use the same one as the parent because it looks a little bit odd, but using the less one because it's like the parent means the spacing. It looks a little more conform, and actually start liking it. So we have the items there, and the last things that we can do is proceed item whenever it's hover. Let's add background color. Yeah, there you go. You can see that we're selecting something. We can actually do the properties. Assistant. Okay. Yeah, I like it. Let's do change the color. No, let's actually change the font. Way too bold. And let's change. See, let's change the color to accent. And to easy. What else we can change? Bluish, maybe. Oh, worse. Yellow. It could work, but let's keep the original one. I think this is enough. Looks pretty nice. So we have the styling done. This is pretty much how I want to add. And we can actually get here, like those here, add style. Let's commit. Perfect. Let's start working now on our main functionality, the JavaScript. So before we do that, we actually need to import our style sheet. Usually we do it at the bottom, right? Now with the new modern, I'm gonna say the new modern browsers, we can actually do it right here. Let's do a script, and let's change the source. It will be my script, JavaScript file. We can actually do the ferret. What that means is it will send it when it's loaded to the browser. You'll send it to the end. So it will not be blocking it, but I will add something extra here. Let's put it as a module, and you will see the benefit of that. Or we can actually import external libraries easier to this. But let's just add as a module, and it will be more than enough. And let's start working in items. So let's do cons groceries. Start adding, and let's do milk. Add cookies. I don't know. Orange juice. Maybe. So we have groceries, and I initialized those a little bit. I just put orange, trying to mimic those. We can pick that later. So let's. There's some elements I need to add here. So this will be like my database. Right? What I need to select here is I need to get a way to see the value element, add the event listener to this button, and then we need to add the event listener. This over here. Of course, whenever we click it, we need to create a new list item, and we need to append them to the URL. That's what I want to show you how to do. Let's do cons, let's do grocery list. Will we get element by ID, and my grocery list is grocery list. Like Let's see. Pilot. I need to shoot down this one, sorry. Right here. Deactivate Copilot globally. Now we have selected the UL. Right. The other element that I need to add here is my add button. I need to learn to type. Will be pretty much same, but the ID was add button. And the new grocery. Grocery input will be and we call this one the grocery, I believe. Remember, where's my input? New grocery. We have the list, this one and this one. So we can start adding elements. So the first thing that I need to do, I need to see a way how to push an element that I type here in my grocery list and then render that where it's supposed to be. So I need to create a new element. So for that, let's actually do a function called create grocery element equal. You're going to send the grocery name, right? And then we need to do something about that. We're going to do grocery element document create create element. Now let's create a new list item, right? And let's try to mimic what we're supposed to get here. So we need to create a list item, we need to add a class, and the new grocery should be the inner HTML inner text, okay? And then we need to append it. We just create the element, and then that grocery element itself want to change the inner text to be my grocery name. Let's actually change this to grocery. I mean, whatever we send it is going to be the inner, and then my grocery element dot class list actually. Let's add the name of the class that we need to add is grocery item, I believe. Perfect. And because this is a function, I want to keep it without affecting anything from outside. Let's just return grocery element that we created. So we'll create the element through the name. What we can do here is add grocery. And there will be a function with the new grocery element. And need to create something. So I will select my grocery list. I will append a child. And the element I need to send the create grocery element. Create grocery element will return send that one. But I need to send the grocery item. That will be in this case my new grocery. Okay. That will allow me to add my add button, add event listener for my click or submission or whatever. We can actually do it to the front end, but let's do it to the bottom. And we will send an event. The first thing that I want to do is to in my event to prevent default, because usually the phone would do a submission. That's why you saw that rendering before, that it was like loading the page. I don't want to do that. But just prevent that default behavior. And I will verify if grocery element has a value. So the grocery input. So if there is a value here, I want to do something. If there is no value, I'll proceed. And probably we can do some extra validation, but let's keep it like that for now, simple enough. Just create a grocery, we'll execute, and we'll send let's actually create here const value equal new grocery value. And we can just verify if the value exists. We want to save it to that value. Okay. And after we send it, we need to make our new grocery input value be empty or null or whatever. That means that every time that we type something and we add it, it needs to be reset. So let me add an extra one here. Let's put real. Add it. Add it, and this gets reset because my event listener click got the value from the new grocery input, verify that value exists, and set the add grocery. Add grocery, append a child to my UL, that is the purplish thing here, right? And that send the grocery element that we created to the create new grocery element. The new grocery element is a list item, the inner text of that particular value, and have the grocery item class in order to be. So we can actually do another, and we got to click enter, and that will be saved to. Okay. So now that we have that, in reality, we can actually get rid of list items over here. We don't need them because we need to render those items whenever we load the page. That means that we want to execute something right here. It will be simple as to groceries at map. To map or groceries, they go to every element. Grocery. Every grocery, what we want to do in our array, we need to do is simple as add grocery, that particular grocery. So this is like a simple for loop. Now you can see that I have my cookies and orange juice there. It's going through a mapping, or it's like a for each, and taking every element and adding that element. Right, so you can actually see it, it's been saved there. Of course, if we add a new one, we reset it, that new one is not being saved because our array is not consistent through sessions. So we need to save it somewhere. I think with this will be more than enough to have our grocery item working. Let me add those. Or functionality or whatever. And we have it. We have all of them. So now what I want to do is add that extra flavor. I know that we already recorded almost for an hour. So let's make the data persistent in order to be saved without keeping something in the array here. So it will be persistent for the browser using local storage. One of the cool things about local storage is that actually uses strings. because we are handling an array, it doesn't work that well. That means you need to parse the information and stringify this another element. I want to simplify that using a library. So one of the cool things that we can use is I can use Skypack. And I look for PDB. And this is pretty cool because when you have a script type modules, we can import from here right away and use it. That's why I loaded this as script. So you want to import it. And we just create a new database. You can do session database the way that I mentioned before, or local database. And we can just get the elements, set the keys. That will persist the data in my browser. That's actually pretty neat. Let's try to use it. So we go to the beginning. We'll import that through here. Okay. And my groceries will change a little bit. Will be database dot. Actually, we need to connect it. Let's do const database equal. Can use sessions or local storage. Let's do local storage. Will be new pdb dot local db, or if we're using just local db, probably we can just import that. So new local db, and let's call this grocery. This database. Right? And my groceries at the beginning will be pretty much get all or empty. See that this still work. Yes. So we are making the connection and getting the element. Of course, my elements from the database are empty. This particular array. The way that this database works is through a key value store, and that's very much what we're going to use. So in order to make it work with a key value, let me look for another one in order to create, and call it short ID. Already will create like a unique keys values, and it's short ones. Yeah, I like it. And this will be the key for the element. And we will just actually just import it and create it through short ID generate. Right? Let me import that. So let's put it from here. So whenever we add something to the database, I want to actually be safe, and that actually will be through the button. So something what we need to do here is, so that I put the value right here is because thinking PDB, saving the value. Let me create my key, will be equal with my short ID dot generate. That's what it says here. Oh, without the, oh yes, the function. And of course this needs to be typed correctly. So we will create those, and when we add we need to change this a little bit. And when we add the grocery, and probably this should value exist, we generate the key, and we send an object with our key, our value. Will the important part, right? That means when we do this, or add grocery, create grocery element will change a little bit because this is not text anymore, it's an object. So we can do that. The inner test will be grocery.value, and that should work for now. We do one element, we do two, perfect. If I refresh, oh, because we need to handle that a little bit better for a minute, but for now I think we add that key value. Oh, but we are not saving it. So after we add it, probably be set key value. Yeah, we need to save it somehow. So let's do 1, 2. I refresh. Not working. Let me go inspect my element. Cool thing about this, we have groceries of our function. That's okay. Yeah, forget about that. It's not a real issue. Let's go in the application side, local storage. We have grocery list database right here. We can see it's being saved. The only thing is oh, get out. It's a function. There you go. I can render. I can do 3, and if I refresh, the new data is right there. Perfect. We added persistence to the database. Added local storage. Cool. I think the only elements that I want to do is when I click something, I want this to go. And this will be a little bit more tricky. But I really wanted to do that, but I think I already recorded over an hour. Let me try to do really quick that part. So now the last element that I need to do here is whenever I click something, this needs to go from the array and from the database itself. That means that I need to insert a event listener to the item itself. Before we move forward, my proceed item, I need to change my pointer, cursor pointer. So we can actually have, like, there is an interaction that we can actually do there. And now the way to add that is when we create the element, we can do grocery element. Before we return it, we add an event listener. That event listener will be the click. And this will be an empty one because I don't need to see the event. I don't need to handle anything through there. So just, oops, this is a comma. There you go. And what I want to do is this particular element, I need to remove it from the DOM. Right? And after I remove it from the DOM, I need to remove it from my database itself. In order to remove from the database, I need to have the key somewhere. I need to read it. I need to somehow delete. I need to put the value or the key that I need to delete. In this case will be this particular grocery dot key. But we need to read the key. But I think this should be more than enough. For this is enough. Let's see it. I refresh. So we render it. There is an issue somewhere. Add grocery is not defined. Did I delete something? I delete something there. Oh, it's over here. Oh, what happened? Okay. So let me just return what I add right here. It will be grocery element remove, right? And db delete my grocery key. I'm gonna read it. If I delete it too, I delete it. Refresh. It's not there anymore. So with that, we will have persistence and we enable to delete data. Let me add those to added delete. And now I have a persistent database using local storage. And I want an extra step. I just want to do, and this is in Skypack. There's something called confetti, and you can see it right here. That's actually imported. And I just want to add, whenever we delete something, I just want to execute it, and I have this one right here. I will hit confetti, and you can read the documentation about confetti, but it will have 300 particles, spread, and start at the bottom. So whenever we finish something, we have that little display of flavor at the end. That's the easy way to use modules and how to import them. So I hope that you really like it. The way that we handle how to do the HTML, the CSS, and the JavaScript file by itself. So as an extra, let me send all this to, so I will create a new one. So this is my grocery list will be public, and a simple grocery list in vanilla JavaScript. Let's create my repo. Let me open my, let me console it. And I'm already in my branch main because that's how I had it set up. So I will just add my remove and we'll push it. I refresh it. Everything is there. You need to submit this URL. So I really hope that you like it. Any question, any doubt, don't hesitate to reach me. Happy coding, everybody.